Hello everyone, my name's Turtle. Welcome to my first grow video series. I came up with a very simple bubble bucket variation that I think is going to work pretty well. This is my third attempt or third design at it, so hopefully everything goes well. I haven't actually tried this myself yet either, but it should hopefully work, knock on wood. But if it does, I think you guys will enjoy it and want to try it yourself. So let's to start. This is a basic 20-gallon bucket. We're going to basically be using about half of this full of water, so it's going to have about 10 gallons of water in here, but a basic 20-gallon bucket. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm actually going to be growing 2 plants instead of 1. One per net pot. A little bit bigger net pot. You obviously don't have to go this big, but it's extra surface area for the roots, which is why I'm doing it this way. So basic 20-gallon tote. I went and just cut a little slit on the side for my power cord for my water pump. That's the key part of the system, and of course your air hose. The water pump is the heart and soul of this design. So how this, and then of course what I did here, I just cut my 2 squares or holes, or however you want to do your net pots. I have a hole on either side for this hose. You'll see how that's going to work here in a little bit, and then that's just kind of hold the hose in place. All right, let's get it together. So first things first, just take your hose. Now this, I'm actually going to probably redo this when I get the opportunity, because this hose is just a hair too short. Like 2-3 inches would have made a world of difference. But so if it looks different next time, or I might have to redo it with actual spray nozzles, we'll figure it out. You'll see next week. But it should, at least you'll get the point of how to put this together. So through the hole, get your net pots in place. Now I kind of aimed it so the lettering on, and this is just a basic 3/8 fuel line from an auto parts store. I aimed the holes opposite of the lettering, so ideally my nozzle should, and I have a couple different holes going a couple different directions. It should basically just spray whatever media you're going to use, cocoa, rocks, whatever. And then, as you can see, it goes in the other side of this. So the whole theory behind this is once a day for like half an hour, or more often depending if you're using rocks or not. But for cocoa, I found half an hour a day is fine, or works perfectly. The pump turns on, shoots down your media, and your waters the top side of the plants, circulates everything, goes back down here. There's no chance of anything leaking. Everything gets soaked, and then it just defaults back to a basic bubble bucket system after that. And then it'll work just like when the pump's not on. It's just your basic bubbler. The added benefit to this also is, come water change, you can just pull out your hose, turn on your pump, dump it right into a bucket, and you're good to go, and then just dump some more water in. So that's a nice little added feature. I tried to make things as simple as I can. So that's the basic concept of the setup. I'm gonna get some water in here, get some cocoa in here. We'll turn it on, make sure everything's gonna work, and we'll see if I need to replace the hose already or not. And you guys will see how this finish works. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So I went and I got some cocoa in here, but I wanted you to see this first before I finish putting it back together. I don't know if you can, but the water is below the net pot. You want to have that, even 1/4 of an inch is enough. Just you want it below the net pot. You want to have that air gap there for the roots, and plus that will keep you from, if you are using cocoa like I am, it gives it a chance to dry out. So Now, couple things. I did do a real quick test run just to make sure this worked. It actually did, but I did add a little plug. I just used I bent over a piece of vacuum tube to kind of create some back pressure to help this spray. And then it's easy to pull out when I do my flushes. Or you can get it more elaborate, but that seems like it worked. And again, like I said, I'll probably end up redoing this hose just because literally an inch or two would make this so much better. And a couple more, I could put this hook further out and it'd be easier to soak everything. But this will work for the moment. So let's give this bad boy a test run. You guys can see how it's supposed to work. Yeah, definitely got to redo the hose though, because you know what I mean. Try to get these angled more better, or angled more better. Yeah, angle better more. Anyway, so, but the concept that you guys can see here is, and like I said, by next week I'm going to actually fix this tomorrow. I'm going to have this hose a little bit more centered. I don't want it to where the hoses are actually over the middle because that's where I'm going to plant my seed, of course. But if I can get it a little bit more towards here, get my hose more towards an angle, I should be able to poke a few holes in there and you can kind of see how that's going to work. And just kind of soak all sides of the medium, get everything nice and wet. As it sits there and runs for a good half an hour or so, everything's going to be nice and soaked and blah, blah, blah. And it'll turn off and then, like I said, revert back to the bubble bucket system. Now, the other nice benefit of this is it's kind of almost like an ebb and flow, whereas the roots are going to get nice and the upper root systems are going to get their water, but they're also going to get a chance to dry out and breathe, and you're going to should notice a difference. Like I said, this is my third run. My last time I did this, I had really good results. So we'll see what happens. And then and also, as far as the whole even just starting a seed, this is all nice and wet and it sits there and gets wet every day. As long you want to make sure that you're somewhat getting near your seed to where you know it's going to get wet, but you can sit there and just straight up, and what I'm going to do is just plant my seed right in the middle and just make sure that water's hitting it. And then and then the once a day cycling on top of this is more than enough. That's your paper towel effect right there. So you can just straight up, no soaking, no anything, just plant your seeds and walk away. So the only other thing to point out as you guys get this started, because as you can see, and the nice thing is there's nothing to as long as your nozzles are pointing in the right direction, there's nothing to get wet. There's no water leaks to worry about. Even if your water pump breaks, after a few weeks your roots are going to be in the water anyway, and you'll have a big bubble bucket system, blah blah blah. It's a pretty safe, easy system. So here's my two timers, obviously one for the light. Here's my water pump, again, once a day for just like half an hour is more than enough, or if you're using rocks, change it up a bit, see what works best for you. The only other thing I did is, if you can see this, there's I basically gave myself a sight glass, so when I'm filling it up, I can see if I start seeing water in this hole. I know I've got my water to my net pot, so nice little built-in sight glass idea if you guys decide to do that as well. So just because I want to plug it in and make sure, or actually see everything up and running, let's finish plugging this in. There's my air. I got a fan right now. We're just, seedling stage. We're not worried about the plant air so much. This is just to keep the light cool. This is a basic 600 watt Mars Hydro. I really like it. It's really done well for me so far. And yeah, let's plug this bad boy in. And that's the system, guys. There's, like I said, not much to it. I'm going to redo this line by the time we have it going again. There's not going to be much to see anyway in the next week. But you can see the theory behind of how this works and how simple it goes together. There's not much to it. It's very, very cheap, efficient. Hopefully I'm going to be upgrading into a grow tent before too much longer. But this should work fine for 2 little plants for now. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you guys give it a shot yourselves. And have a great night. Thanks again. Bye.